Bonjour mes amis, my name is Freya and welcome back to Growing My Grandpa. Yes, I was just about to end the week. Okay. Food acquired: cashews, lettuce, banana, blueberries, fiberglass insulation, and battery. Documents acquired: a bunch. Knowledge you acquired this week has given you access to a new conversation topic to discuss with Grandpa. Language. Week 3. Mrs. Richards approached me the other day in order to remark on Adrian's development. She noted how much more at ease she appeared when called upon in class, or when asked to participate in group exercises. I told her I'd seen this change happening as well, and that as much as I would like to take credit for it, I can only guess dimly at what might be reshaping her attitude. Mrs. Richard posited that it was perhaps Adrian's family moving into their grandfather's property that caused the change. It apparently is out in the country, in a wooded area, full of wide open space and far from the bustle and noise of the city. The grandfather, Dr. Jacob Hart, had jointly purchased the land with the university he was employed with and began constructing what he was intending to be a satellite campus for a burgeoning psychological anthropology program he had a hand in establishing. Only one building ever ended up being constructed after Dr. Hart died in a car accident when driving back from the property one day. Eerily, at almost the exact same time, a grad student who was assisting Dr. Hart on some sort of project at the property vanished without a trace. That'll be William. The property sat in disuse for years as it was tied up in legal battles between Dr. Hart's next of kin, the university, the vanished grad student's family, and the other students Dr. Hart was working with. Eventually the case was settled out of court. Only recently did the property fall into the possession of Adrian's mother. Obviously, I was not going to relay this whole tragic story to Adrian, who, for all I know, believes her grandpa to still be living in the basement of his home. Besides, I thought, she might already know all of this. Perhaps the elaborate story she was constructing was her own way of escaping the morbid details of a life, or perhaps lives, cut short by the cruel force of fate and the cynical adults who squabbled in the aftermath. I determined perhaps the storytelling she was and continues to engage in should not be encouraged by me, at least not in the way I went about it before, where I made active inquiries into her strange fantasy of a semi-sentient ball of skin. When I saw Adrian, I did not bring up her grandpa, or ask questions about his growth. Adrian could not stop talking about it, however. I had no choice but to weather her bizarre and enthusiastic effusions about her new best friend. Adrian, maybe we can talk about something else. I'm not sure I'm following you exactly. He's gotten so big. He has so many whiskers that come out, and I can see them move around when I think about him. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm so happy Grandpa's back. He's so much cooler than Mom and Dad. Once again, for what it's worth, I have put down the story she told me, as best I could. Adrian once again told me about growing her grandpa. Alright, let's do some cleanup first. A potato! Life. That is so ominous. I mean, I guess that's rather the point, but still. Indecision. That's an awful big one for Grandpa. I don't know if he's ready for that one yet. A paper doll. Okay, okay. Yet another pulsating sac grows in this corner of the basement. Seems like it could be easily opened with a sharp edge. I'm not looking forward to opening the bulbous growths. we? Alright, let's go see Grandpa. So I have to feed him 3 things and teach him 2 things. Okay. Let me save. I'm gonna cook up... Actually, let me search the fridge. A pear. And a strawberry. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna prepare potato and battery! Potato battery! The battery is concealed in the soft potato flesh. I'm gonna see what happens if I feed this to him. Although quickly consumed, the meal seems to be causing some indigestion. Yeah, it's a battery. And with a sudden lurch, Grandpa empties its stomach onto the floor. The contents pool together in front of the cage. Can I go look? You step away from the window. Oh, I'm sorry, Grandpa. Oh, I'm sorry, Grandpa. Examine stomach contents. A key! Still somewhat wet. Okay. I'm sorry. You can have more food, Grandpa. I'm really sorry. Have some fruit. Okay. All right. Okay, now I have a key. I'm gonna attempt to communicate. It approaches the bars and begins to unknit its skin. The inner Grandpa, though still not fully formed, is revealed. It may be fruitful to speak with it if it can respond. Ask about wish. Grandpa still struggles somewhat to speak due to its underdeveloped tongue, mouth, and jaw. However, it manages to rasp out an answer. Hunger is not enough. On the walls of the cave, the auroch can be hunger transformed. Desire is fulfilled by pain. Your grandpa doesn't have the right words right now. I can only say, I love you. Love is not enough, though. Desire is not enough. Project it outwards. Make it true to yourself, if only in symbol. Then it will be enough. For me and for you. Ask about Grandpa's shell. Something to grow in. My skin is not the doll's skin. My skin is not like your skin either. I can still feel your eyes on me, inside my shell. I have many eyes to see, but I don't need them as much as I need your eyes, with which I can understand as seeing me. There is a cycle of attention. You give me myself, but I am still not that. Slowly I form a human shape, and you see me more as human, and I become that. Ask about the biohazard bin. They kept putting me in a box. Sleeping, and then set a light, and then in a box in the corner in the darkness. Most of you couldn't read then. The scribe came and wrote what everyone said. They wrote on strips of bark with thin reeds. No, it was not that. It was a paper posted somewhere. It had words to open the box. I was half dead in the box. The part of me that dies was put there for a long time. That part of me, and other things they threw in, a refuse pile, papers they discarded. I'm starting to feel bad for it. Like, I know this is a predatory creature that's, like, taking advantage of a young girl's naivety, but I feel bad for it. You know, maybe we shouldn't have been messing with this thing in the first place. Ask about language. Grandpa is old. My lives were easier before I made myself to speak and before you made clothes to wear and rules to obey. Your grandpa remembers. I have learned much in many lives and deaths. Huh. That's got kind of, Trill vibes. Keep speaking with me. I love talking with you and learning from you, and it helps your grandpa so much. Soon I will be everything you would like me to be. That's it. Goodbye. Grandpa silently ascends back into its shell. You examine Grandpa, noting its movements, respiration, and general mood. Grandpa appears content and ready to cooperate. Okay, this is my least favorite part. Teach word life. At week 3 of growth number 24, Whiskers appeared to recall some information from a previous growth cycle. We cannot be sure that this was really the case. For all we know, what we interpret it as it recollecting this information was really it drawing semantic content from one of our recollections of it and redeploying it without rationality or contextualization. For the sake of our safety, and for the sake of scientific inquiry, we are attempting to draw out from Whiskers whether it somehow retains knowledge from previous cycles in its morpholactic nucleus. We did not think it was possible the nucleus, though complex and incredible in its regenerative abilities, was capable of this, and that the nerve network that grew from it and made up the base of Whiskers' mind. And so we are now attempting to ask Whiskers, as best we can, if it has ever died, or what it might remember if it did. Okay. It's so gross. One thing about me is that, I'm relatively immune to the concept of uncanny valley. That is to say, humanoid things, or things that are almost human, like mannequins, and, humanoid robots, and aliens, and, you know, the Cats reboot movie, they don't bother me at all. And I actually have no concept of what it feels like to be bothered by something looking too human. But I am very sensitive to finding things gross. Oh, that really sounded like the word, too. Oh, that's messed up. But also, like, I have a tendency to get really attached to monstrous things, but because this game has already put this creature in a familial context, I can't even hone in on the part of my brain that is generally attracted to monsters, because, like, this is a grandpa. We are introducing the latest growth of Whiskers to more subtle social cues and testing its ability to judge mental states of participants in conversation. The semantic content that flows to Whiskers via its psi field is still becoming muddled and slipped without distinction into conversation, although our intention of instilling in it a solid theory of mind will perhaps make it begin to understand that we do not know what it knows, or know what we are without our control sending to it. One would think a theory of mind seems to develop as part of its maturation process. In order to hunt sapient beings, it must be able to deceive them. In order to deceive, it must be able to make certain metacognitive judgments, for example, if their deception appears to be working or how one ought to be deceived. We may never see it develop a theory of mind anytime soon, as Dr. Hart has disallowed a cycle of Whiskers growth to live into the beginnings of maturity. This is giving Red Dwarf vibes as well, specifically the sirens. You try the safe's lock with the key you found, and it pops open. A photo of your mother as a young woman. The recognition of this face kicks off a cascade of emotion and meaning deep within your psyche. I can't pick up that photo? Okay. Okay, I guess the key is not sharp enough to penetrate the bulbous sacs. Okay, so I can take the photo of Mom and glue it to the paper doll. Go to Grandpa. Offer Mother doll? He's not interested right now. Okay. But he might be interested later. Alright, let's do next week. The time I have to spend compiling an evaluation on Adrian is almost up, and I still can't say what to make of her changes in mood. It is of course the case that children of Adrian's age are nowhere near finished learning and growing. I may have to simply be happy to hear that Adrian was able to improve her attitude. However, something in the odd and occasionally grotesque stories she continues to bring up to me still strike me as meaningful. How has your week been, Adrian? Grandpa is almost ready. He's almost finished. Well, sort of. Ah. He's almost as big as his shell now. He has a face, and he can talk pretty well, and almost has legs. I see. As before, I've put down the story she told me as best I could. Once again, Adrian told me about growing her grandpa. Let's do some cleanup. Bar soap. I don't want to run out of edible food. So I don't want to feed him too much inedible stuff, but I also don't know if there's any other goodies that I can get from his vomit. It's another bulbous growth. Hate those things. Meaning. I wonder how sentient Whiskers is, or if it's more like ChatGPT, how it just sort of like learns mimicry and doesn't actually have an understanding of the words that it's saying, it just knows what words would likely be said by a person in this situation. I'm starting to really fall in love with this game though, like the whole concept behind it is so neat. One big reason why a lot of horror falls flat on me is that if I can't actually believe it as somewhat plausible, I have a hard time being scared by it. That's why some of the Five Nights at Freddy's games I just can't really get into, even though I love Five Nights at Freddy's. But this is it's just spiritual enough to have a justification for the eldritchness of it all, but it's also just scientific enough that I can buy it. Flatbread! I wonder if that was cooked in, like, an animal fat-based oil. Probably not. I'm probably looking for actual meat. I mean, I guess the instructions said not to feed it meat, but let's be honest, we're gonna feed it meat. Symbol. And a mushroom! Okay, what do I have? What do I need to feed? 3 things. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think I am gonna give him 1 more inedible. Oh, I don't have a soft fruit or vegetable. Never mind. Grandpa seems fatigued and almost anemic. Some of its spines appear brittle. Perhaps it would be more cooperative if fed an iron-rich meal like meat. I'm sorry, Grandpa, I don't have any. Ooh, he liked the flatbread. It said he found it palatable. Okay. Whew. Oh, that does look almost human. Alright. I hate this part, it's so gross. We further delve into abstraction with Whiskers, partially, or perhaps for the most part, for the purpose of determining the origin of its recollections that precede its death. Dr. Hart has begun to theorize that in the process of death, the structure of Whiskers is compressed back into the morpholactic nucleus, and then later, upon re-establishing the nerve netting that is laced through its spines, is slowly reassembled, slowy, found a typo, and redeployed as needed. I do not think this is the case, for I can plainly see that for growth cycles in which Whiskers is not receiving our pronunciation and vocab lessons, that its capacity general for comprehending its environment is greatly diminished, and in the simulated conversations we carry out, Whiskers struggles greatly or else does not participate. In any case, we will press on with our lessons and heed Dr. Hart's caution regarding terminating the growth cycle before Whiskers' allotted growth time passes, or if it appears to be becoming just a little too competent at appearing human. Alright, I'm gonna attempt to communicate. No response. Okay. Oh, I need to get more topics, that's why. Okay. That was good. He did good with that one. Good job, Grandpa. There appears to be nothing written here, or if there was, it was thoroughly erased. Okay, I can't think of anything else to do here, so... I'm willing to bet he'll throw up a knife if I feed him something bad again. And I can use that to burst the bulbous sacs. I wish I could have just used the mirror shards. Who could that be? Come in! Ah, Adrian, good to see you. Aren't you a little early? No matter, I suppose I have some time now. How've you been? How's your grandpa doing? That's why I wanted to talk to you. Something happened. Oh, what happened? Nothing bad, I hope? No, nothing bad. Just different, I think. Maybe even good. Well, I'll tell you about it. Well, last night something woke me up. There was this noise at first. It was like it came from the walls. I could hear it from my bedroom, but there was something else. Something calling. I could hear it just barely. I was afraid somehow Grandpa hurt himself. I had to go find out. I went downstairs, and the vent, the place where I first found Grandpa, or what I grew him with, was open. Do you remember how I told you about the vent in the ceiling behind the bars? I was thinking he'd climbed up into it. He'd gotten so big, he could have done that. Maybe he'd gotten trapped somehow in the vent. I had to go see. Ugh. I don't like this. I got inside and I heard the calling again, more clearly this time. Grandpa was definitely in the vent somewhere. I could feel him hearing my thoughts. I got that weird feeling, a sense in the air. I had to go forward. No, you really don't, kiddo. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like this at all. As I moved in closer, the vent had stuff in it, the kind of slimy, hairy stuff Grandpa would leave around a lot. He was definitely close. Something was there at the end. But it wasn't Grandpa. It looked like maybe he had made it, though. It was slumped in the corner, had a weird mouth, and it had its lungs on the outside and drew in just enough air to call out. And then it just stopped. Stopped breathing. And then something was hanging over me. And then I woke up in my bed. In your bed? Adrian, it sounds like it was just a quite dreadful dream. Are you alright, by the way? Your face is twitching like you're about to have a violent sneeze. I'm fine. It's just Grandpa, you see. It took me a little while to figure out, but... Ugh. Later, when I was brushing my teeth, I saw one of Grandpa's whiskers poking just out of the space under my eye. And I started to remember how in the vent, he hid inside of me. Okay. Am I gonna eat the therapist? Well, I guess I am the therapist now. Is Adrian gonna eat me? It was so fast I could barely remember, but soon I started to feel him sliding around in my head. Behind my forehead and behind my eyes and nose. It doesn't hurt at all, it's just ticklish. I'm glad I can be with him. Oh, I can feel him now. I think he wants to meet you. Part of him is moving down my arm. Oh. I'm starting to get worried, Adrian. You really should not be twitching like this. Come on, I should walk you to the nurse's office. Let's go. You should really meet him. I've told you so much about him. Here. What are you doing? Adrian, you're starting to look very ill. Please, just wait. Just stay still. He's gathering, waiting at my fingertips. Why do you look like that? You don't have to be afraid. Look. Oops. There are 2 endings in Growing My Grandpa. You got the failure of fulfillment ending. Grandparent-teacher conference. Okay. Yeah, I'll try and get the good ending next time, I guess. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. I thought it was gonna have like a jump scare there in the vent. I'm really glad it didn't. I do not like jump scares. Yeah, I'll sit through the credits. A hot man, my real dad. Arthur Bagpuss. Chanandler Bong! These credits are moving so fast I can't read all the good ones. Consume. Okay, so I never did find any meat to give him. Nor did I find anything sharp with which to burst the bulbous sacs. Maybe the bulbous sacs had meat in them? Okay, next time I play, I'm gonna see if I can make him throw up again. But that's gonna do it for this video, so thank you everybody so much for watching. If you enjoyed, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!